In this video, I will try to introduce the game known as the Ninth Age Fantasy Battle. What is it, what's it for, and for whom? I'm Alex and you're watching Winterwolf Miniatures. Today I thought we should just have a little chat, you and I. What's that? You're shy? That's okay, because I will do the most of the talking. You just sit back, relax, and listen to my beautiful Nordic accented English. Exotic, isn't it? I want to introduce you to a game. It's called Ninth Age Fantasy Battle. But hang on, what if you don't know anything about tabletop miniature wargames? Well, if that's the case and you just stumble upon this video and I am your first encounter with the subject, I'm sorry, but very well, if that's actually the case, don't worry, I'll break it down for you quickly. Tabletop miniature wargaming is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. You collect miniatures, paint them, and put them into large armies. You then put that army on a tabletop opposite your nemesis, mate's army. Following a bunch of intricate rules, you then move your units around the battlefield, using sneaky schemes, tactics, or just simply luck. You then resolve the outcome using dice. If it's not a draw, one player is victorious and the other one talks about the what ifs for a while. Then you share a beer. The beer is optional. So why is Ninth Age a thing? I thought I'd start from the beginning. No, not that. The beginning of the Ninth Age. The year was 2015. I was young, younger than I am today, and the end times in Warhammer Fantasy was over. The old world of Warhammer Fantasy lay in ruin, and Games Workshop was successful in their endeavors to ruin the world they spent 20-something years developing. That world was beautiful. I loved it and miss it dearly. While it still exists in some way, like in the popular video game Total War Warhammer, as a miniature wargame, it's no more. As a long-time player of the game, I understand the market and the rule changes from edition to editions. One being hero-heavy, so you don't need that many miniatures to start playing, enticing new players. The next being infantry-focused, so you get those new players to buy more crap miniatures. The last edition before the end times was the 8th edition. The 8th edition was in many ways the best edition of Warhammer Fantasy, but it was not for new players. Lots of intricate rules, and the fact that you needed a lot of models to play meant new players really had an uphill struggle. I know, because I helped a few new players learning the game during this time. The next edition therefore needed to be easier, and playable with less miniatures. Enter Age of Sigmar. Now, Age of Sigmar seems like a decent enough game these days, but when it arrived along with those shiny new Stormcast Eternals, for some of us experienced players, it felt like going from this to this. While it was a fun game, the biggest issue with 8th edition was balance. I of course understand that Games Workshop makes miniature first and is a game developer second, but some things was a bit hard to accept as a player. Some of you old players might remember back in the day when High Elves got a new army book and got their Banner of the World Dragon. A banner that made it pretty much impossible to win against them, especially if you played as demons. The game, as it was, were pretty random, with orcs fighting themselves and undead armies destroying themselves before the opponent even had its first turn, due to a single fail spell. I myself killed my vampire lord more than once in the first turn by casually trying to summon some zombies. It was fun to play with friends, but you couldn't really compete in that game. When Age of Sigmar was announced, some people, including myself, wasn't so interested to rebase all my armies with round bases, and some of them were so fed up that they decided to just make their own game. Designed for balance and with tournament and competition in mind, the project were named the Ninth Age Fantasy Battle, and is roughly based on Warhammer Fantasy 8th edition, but a lot of work has been done removing some of the randomness and instead focus on playability and balance. There are 16 factions, including but not limited to elves, dwarves, demons, humans, and of course, undead. These are accompanied by a handful of smaller supplement factions, and the rules, documents, army books, and fluff is constantly updated and worked with, making the game better and better all the time. Today, 7 years down the road, the game is better than ever, with lots of active players around the world. What makes it special is that the game is not made by a company trying to sell models, so you're not limited to just one manufacturer, and can use whatever models you want, as long as they fit the description in the army book. There are rule guidelines for tournaments, which make sure people's miniatures match in appearance to the rules. But for you as a player, it still gives you immense freedom when putting your army together. And as a tournament player, let me tell you, people have awesome imagination. You see the most incredible creations and both beautiful and weird armies. And the players are, at least in my experience, really nice, friendly and welcoming guys. So who can play the game? Well, basically anyone who owns some miniatures. Or if not, there is a digital simulation online, where you can get together with people from all over the world and try out a new army to practice, or to try out a new idea before you actually buy any models. As for the miniature game itself, the rules is free to download on the webpage. You'll find a link in the description. It's perfect for people who used to play any edition of Warhammer Fantasy and wants to get back into miniature wargaming. It especially suits people who are interested in something that is better balanced and therefore more skill based, especially if you want to compete in tournaments. Is it for new players? Yes and no. While the rules are in many ways simpler than the 8th edition Warhammer Fantasy, the game is still rule heavy. If you never played any miniature war game before, I imagine it could be a bit overwhelming, but explained by a friend, you can enjoy your games pretty quickly. You need quite a lot of models though. Since it's designed by and for experienced players, a typical game involves quite a few minis. A common standard for tournaments would be 4,500 points, which is about 2,500 in Warhammer Fantasy 8th edition numbers. Here is my 4,500 points Chaos Army tournament list for comparison. I got the suggestion from a friend to make a 9th Age tutorial series for my channel. And while that sounds like great fun, I thought I'd start with this introduction first, to sort of probe the waters a bit and check if there's any interest in a video series like that. So what do you think? Please let me know in the comments if you would watch a series of tutorial videos for the 9th Age fantasy battles, and what you in that case would want them to be about. One idea, for example, could be an introduction style series with basic rule explanation and visual examples dedicated to new players. Again, let me know in the comments. And please remember to like the video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you like the sound of my voice and want to listen to me babbling about nerdy stuff some more, you could, for example, check out my 9th Age battle reports. If you are a Instagram person, make sure to follow me there, at Winterwolf Minis. And if you like my content and want more and even better in the future, you should consider becoming a patron. For less than the price of an ice cream a month, you can support the channel and knowing you did a good deed. And also get access to my Patreon page, where I post all manner of stuff, as often as I remember doing it. Pictures, hobby logs, behind the scenes footage and more. Remember to check out the 9th Age website if this sounded interesting. And thank you for watching. See you soon.